Hello, guys, and welcome to the Phee Network's Phee Sports Ball with Sir Isaac the Guru. Sir Isaac just stepped in the house and is rocking and rolling from a long day at work. How you feel, Sir Isaac?
I'm tired. I also got more to go after this, but we haven't had a show since early before Thanksgiving and got a bunch of important stuff happening, so we had to get in here and talk about it.
College football playoffs, I tell you, they couldn't have gotten it wrong, but they did.
Yeah, no, the funny thing is they can't. There's no way in that format you make everyone happy, but you just hope to do the best thing to make as least people happy, but they can't even do that. So they're just, I think at this point I'm convinced that it's their entire goal I think their goal is to have a 16-24 team playoff, and they're intentionally trying to piss people off to make it happen. That's what I think they're doing at this point.
I told them in 1980 they need to go to a 16-team playoff. If they would have this year, they wouldn't have near as many problems. But when you put Tulane, which is a good football team, then you put James Madison, which I'm sure in that class, they're a fine football team. But the University of Arkansas didn't win a game in the SEC this year. They went over. If they played James Madison this coming Saturday, what do you think the line would be?
Well, I don't know what the line would be. We'd probably lose by 3 at the last second somehow. But no, we would be. I would be shocked if we weren't favored.
Yeah, I would think it'd be 2.5.
I would be shocked. I'd be shocked. No, it's crazy, and people can. If it's sports, anything can happen. That's why we watch them. So there is a chance that those teams come in and compete and make it a close game. But the odds are that it's just they get whooped by.
Oregon can put 60 on you, and Ole Miss can put 50 on you.
Well, Tulane played Ole Miss and got absolutely railroaded.
Again, you got some serious people. Notre Dame, for people that don't like Notre Dame, and of course I told you after they lost the first 2 games they would win out and be in the playoffs. You've got USC, Utah, BYU. There's some decent football teams out there.
Vandy should have got it.
Vandy's what I would have put in too. I missed that one, but yes, James Madison and Tulane in the top 12 of college football. I don't know how they sat in that room and didn't think that they weren't going to just be crushed.
Well, it's because they set a precedent for themselves that they basically had to put them in, because based on what they have said out loud and the rules in place, it feels like that was the quote-unquote right decision. But everyone knows that's not one of the best football teams. That's just based on them not wanting to, screw over these smaller schools that go win their conference. And it's an impossible situation for them, and they did it to themselves. I'm not trying to say have sympathy for them.
Right.
But they did it to themselves, but then you put these teams in there because, they have the argument of, we just play who's on our schedule and we beat who's on our schedule. Well,
I agree.
Yeah, but then you have to have that is not the two of the top 12 teams in football.
Why don't we just say what everybody's thinking? Put the 12 best teams of college football in there.
Because then you're going to have all the smaller markets like that being all mad. Everyone's going to be mad at some point, which I actually should go look back at the last couple years and see if the 16 thing would have been more clean, because I'm sure there's years where that would be messy too. This year it feels like it would have been clean.
Well, Alabama with 3 losses surprised me over Notre Dame, but when you look at how many teams that they've won and the schedule they've played, you can certainly say they're deserving. Last year, I had a problem with SMU and Clemson getting in from the ACC, which I thought was a weak conference, like I do this year. They played better than I expected them to be. They didn't get beat by 40.
Yeah.
But now the year before, Georgia had won 22 or 23 SEC games in a row. They got beat in the SEC championship game. They didn't get in the 4-team playoff. You had Washington and Texas get in that year. So They've got problems every year, but James Madison and Tulane don't belong in the bracket of the 12 best football teams in America.
No, the Tulane's only hope is that Ole Miss is a disaster with the coaching, drama, which that is possible. I still think even with the drama, Ole Miss's second and third string that they could roll out is still better than Tulane. However, you add in the culture issues, and there is a chance that it's a mess and that game is exciting, but it has nothing to do with Tulane. It has to do with that being a kind of a disaster of a situation. But the Oregon situation, I mean, Oregon, do they have a line?
The line started out at
21 and a half is what it is
yeah,
now.
the line started out at 18 and a half and went to 22 and a half. Now it's settled in at 21.
That shouldn't even be a thing.
I know, but see, Ole Miss started out at 16 and a half, the opening line, and now it's gone to 17 and a half. That's 17 is a big number in that area, 16 and a half, 17 and a half. But again, not trying to criticize folks, but put the 12 best football teams in and then have people argue about who's number 12. They're not arguing about one or two teams now. They're just basically saying you could pick the 20 and 24th best team. How did they get in the top 12? Because that's what James Madison and Tulane are ranked in the top 25.
Yep.
20 and 24. Well, how's USC feel at 16? Or Vanderbilt at 13? Or Notre Dame?
They flipped Notre Dame and Miami too, which everyone had a feeling that was going to happen because of the head-to-head. But still, it's like the way they did the rankings. Like, why not wait before the week that you make the playoff to put Miami ahead of Notre Dame? Why do it at the last week when you've been having it flipped the whole time?
And Notre Dame didn't lose.
Yeah, but it's it's a bad spot if you got me defending Notre Dame, because I do not like Notre Dame, but Notre Dame would beat Tulane and James Madison by 30.
As bad as they did the Hogs.
Yeah, and Vandy, I wish Vandy would have got in. I'm kind of tired of hearing about Texas, to be honest with you, because the only valid argument Texas has is that they have the talent to compete with the best teams in the country, which is true. But you can't. Bama having 3 losses is the only thing that is giving Texas any sort of ground to stand on. If it wasn't for Bama having 3 losses, Texas everyone should be telling them to shut up, because you can't lose 3 games and then be griping about, oh, we're not in. Don't lose 3 games. Losing 1, okay. Losing 2, maybe.
Depends on who you're playing.
But 3 and then griping about not getting in, no. There's only one person you can blame for that, and it's you. So don't. They shouldn't be that upset. Notre Dame has more reason to be upset. Miami, I wish no ACC schools got in there, but I wish it would have been Notre Dame, Vandy, and then someone else instead of Miami. But I mean, I don't know. If you put Notre Dame in, you got to put Miami in. So I don't know. I am sad just because of the quality of football that we're going to be watching. I don't really have any care about the teams that missed out. As a matter of fact, a couple of the teams that missed out, I would prefer them, not be in. But it's just a matter of, like, no one wants to watch. I say that. People would much rather watch Vandy, Oregon, or,
Notre Dame,
Ole Miss than they would those other games.
That's correct.
And
that's not taking away anything from James Madison or Tulane. Good football programs.
Yeah.
But there's supposed to be a national championship bracket, and for the 12 best teams, and for somehow all of these schools behind these closed doors, they've got all these conference championships. They're going to go to 16, and when they go to 16, the 17th and 18th team will still argue, but that's okay. 16 is the right number. It's been the right number, not 4, not 8, not 12, 16. But put the best 16 in. And I know that they're worried about football is not like basketball, and you're not going to have the Loyola of Chicago's get to the Final Four if James Madison plays and wins it all, I'll be wrong.
I was going to say that's what you have to ask yourself is even if all these people are defending those schools, does anyone believe, like seriously believe that either one of those schools can win the whole thing? And I think the answer would be no from everybody. And that means that they shouldn't be in. Because the only teams that should be in are the teams that you think have a chance to win a national championship. And
even a small chance.
yes,
but a chance.
And it's not they're not that, and like you said, no bad things to them. I mean, they played. They had a great season and played. And there should be, if you add in more teams or you make some type of, I don't even know how you solve it, but it's not like we should just forget about those teams. Yeah,
8 conference champs and then 8 at-large bids would do it.
John Summerall, we should have hired him.
I'm thankful that he was my favorite, and he went to Florida. But I think we got a good football coach at the university that came from the University of Memphis. We shall see. Did not make a lot of people happy. He did win the press conference, but it wasn't a landslide.
But you know what he already messed up by saying it's not gonna shoot him in the foot all the way. But he made a big mistake already when he said we're gonna have the best recruiting class in school history, when he had 4 days to recruit high school. I mean, like why? Like that's the thing. Again, it's not changing my opinion on him. I'm like so far on the fence. You couldn't get me off the fence on how I feel about the hire. I'm not passionately against it, but I'm also dang sure not excited. But don't make statements like that. That's like Chad Morris coming in and being like, we're going to have the best offense in the nation. Like, what? Don't say it. Just be honest.
It's all about the hype, isn't it?
Yeah, but our situation right now, our state, our fans, the worst thing you can do is say some stuff like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then
go 4-8.
Yes, you just can't do it. But we literally, it's incredible how much we can make a safe, like, mediocre decision to me. It's incredible because we followed what I said and did it in the most average way possible. We didn't go with an old guy. Thankful for that.
Yes.
And we went with a guy we're trying to gamble on him being an up-and-comer. Thankful for that. However, of the guys that were the up-and-comers, we hired the 5th best. It's like, come on. Like,
you knew LSU and Florida and Penn State were going to get some real good coaches. James Franklin lands at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, that's bad.
And who do you think Ole Miss is going to be looking at?
If I were them, I'd wait. I mean, they got their interim guy, like keep him as an interim, and then just wait. I guess Same with Michigan's now in a really bad spot. Although now they're talking about DeBoer going there, like everyone's just spitting off their theories, and then they're saying Saban or no, they're saying Lane Kiffin. It's gonna go to Bama.
Oh yeah, that goes LSU Tigers so happy with it. Can you imagine?
Oh my!
Before he ever coaches a game, he goes to Alabama. Who knows? But if Ole Miss is the interim coach, and they play well, they're going to rally around. You know, the change of coaching is not going to be an issue like most people think it is. They're not going to just fold their tent and lay down. If they don't show up, it'll be an organizational blunder because those kids are playing for something, and they're going to rally around themselves and the new coaches and want to show people that they were the ones playing and that he was coaching. So if it's an organizational situation where they're out coached based on going back and forth from LSU and trying to get a staff together, that's hard. There's no consistency, and any time that you change the pattern, normally you have problems. So I hope Ole Miss does well. I do not expect them to go far.
I'm rooting for them.
I'm expecting them to win the first game, but then you know who they play the second game.
I don't.
Georgia.
Oh, well, if Kiffin would have been there, I wouldn't have been rooting for him, but now I'm rooting for him because now they're back to. He's the only reason I didn't root for him, really. I got no problem with Ole Miss as a school, but that since he's gone, I'm gonna be rooting for him now because I don't. I've always gone back and forth on like whether I think like half of me, my brain thinks how you did about the kids are trying to show like they're not only good because Lane Kiffin. The other half of me is like wonders if in today's time, I feel like you're more of a not in all cases, but I feel like coaches now are more of a like a manager type than coach because of all the money and the egos and everything that has been created by this. They're professionals, and so now I feel like your job is managing that and making them still, if they're cashing a however many, $1 million check, making them still feel like they want to show up and play. And I just get curious of when that stuff happens, like I would feel like it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the kids just say like
Checked out.
yeah, I mean just like hey, I got my money, I don't care. They did this, they did that, blah blah blah.
There's your culture.
But who knows? I mean, maybe they do take the stick it to 'em attitude and they rally behind this interim, and maybe they play harder than they did with Lane Kiffin. I mean, there's a chance. I don't know how that looks, but
Well, he's a good offensive mind as far as coaching, decisions, and they'll probably miss that. At the same time, I don't know. It's more of a selfish culture. People are getting paid. They're getting paid big money, and they don't want to ruin their pro career. You're seeing more and more of them opt out of bowl games that don't count. I get all that. There's no reason in playing in the dadgum Alamo Bowl if you're a first round draft pick, and it doesn't matter. But if you're playing for a national championship and you're one of those 12 teams, which let's just say 8 of them have a chance, then I think you show up and you play. And I think if you're motivated and you're coached correctly, that can be a real rallying point.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, you got Oklahoma goes to Tuscaloosa, beats Alabama outright. Now they're paired up in the first round in Oklahoma, and Alabama's still a 1-point favorite.
Yep.
What do you think, Guru?
I'm probably going to stick to my guns on what I did the first time and probably rock with Bama in that game just because they've looked suspect a lot of times, but it just going off the super cliche eye test thing that people throw around. I don't watch Oklahoma and see they don't look like a team who can win it to me, and they have a chance to make me look really dumb. I look dumb a lot. But you watch Bama, and when Bama's playing good, you can just see it. Like, you've watched national champions for the last however many years. Like, the type of football they play, and you watch Bama play, and you're just like, yeah, like they're really good. The only thing they can't do is they still can't run the dang football, which neither can Oklahoma. Oklahoma runs it worse than Bama. But I don't know. The fact that they're a favorite is kind of crazy after they lost head-to-head at home.
Just goes to show you what the betting public believes.
Yeah, it's the brand.
You don't think that. I believe Alabama's going to beat them in Norman. But
I think so too. Georgia whooped up on them though.
He did. They certainly did. But Oklahoma has a championship quality defense.
Yeah.
They just have an average offense at best.
Yeah.
And you're seeing when Indiana and Ohio State, and it was 13-10, and I was sitting there thinking, Guru and Phee called it all year with Ohio State's defense. But Indiana can score, and for them to only get 13 points, Ohio State should have won the football game. Okay, so if you can't score with that Ohio State, we've talked about the talent.
Yeah,
we've talked about it all year.
That was the answer. That was the answer that you needed to get, though, which you were right and I was wrong. I thought that their defense is going to be how good they are, and then I thought that if they had to get in that situation, that their talent on offense, it's like they haven't had to use. They haven't had to be
That
in that
good.
time and throw it up there like that. And so I was like, maybe when they're forced with the situation, they just do it on offense too. But they didn't. They when they had to do it, they couldn't get it done. And now they look. They went from looking, in my mind, they went from looking unbeatable to now. I mean, if they can't, I don't think Indiana's got that much of a better defense than Georgia, OU, and so then at some point you're like, well, then who can Ohio State not score on? Or maybe they snap out of it and they score 40 on the next team. I mean, I don't know, but
Well, wasn't it last year when Michigan beat them and then Ohio State wins it out? The thing that scares me about it is I expected Ohio State to be undefeated and then have to win 3 more to win a national championship, and I told you that wouldn't happen.
yeah,
Now they've lost. That puts them more of a contender to me.
that's true. That's true.
Because I don't think Indiana can beat them twice.
I'll say now you get humbled a little bit and you get a little bit of reality check, and then surely that makes you hone it in. It's hard to stay locked in and as focused and working as hard when you're undefeated, because you have no reason to believe that you have to go an extra gear. There's obviously some special people in the world that don't require that, and that always have that gear and work that hard, like your Tom Brady's and people like that, where they're just winning, but they still.
My oldest son would be put in that category.
Yeah.
Nick Saban would be put in that category. Anybody that does the same thing every day and does not care about the circumstances.
Yeah.
They're going to be consistent. And in life and in sports and in relationships and in business, the most important thing to do is to be consistent.
Yeah.
Very difficult as things around you change and you're dealing with human relationships. They're not all the same. And most of them have hidden agendas. And by the time that's over with, it's all about communication and consistency in all of those aspects of life. But in sports, especially during this time, Ohio State loses to Indiana. I don't know if Indiana. I'd like to see if any Big Ten teams wins the football championship. I'd love for it to be Indiana.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
I don't ever want Michigan, Penn State, or Ohio State to win. I'm a USC fan. When they joined, I thought I hope they win it every year, but they don't have a defense that can compete, and so they're used to playing that West Coast offense. But we'll see. I think Oregon will cruise against James Madison, and I think the OU Alabama first round is going to be the matchup that people talk about.
Yeah.
It won't be Ole Miss Tulane. It won't be James Madison Vanderbilt. What is the other two teams? The one I'm missing.
Miami A&M.
Miami and A&M. There's your football team games also. So you're supposed to have 2 good quality football games with A&M and Miami, and then Oklahoma and Alabama. We'll see if it turns out that way, but it certainly has all of the ingredients to be a phenomenal weekend of sports. Next, not this coming weekend, but next weekend it will kick off. So.
By the way, not trying to just pat myself on the back, but I've been saying that A&M quarterback, that someone needs to make him have to actually force them to throw the ball and hang in a game. And Texas played him well and made the kid have to throw. And what he throw, like 3 picks or 2 picks, and at the end of the game, South Carolina didn't count, which we were saying that because they literally just they just stopped playing. But Texas is out here playing, and they made this kid, you have to throw the ball and drive and score, or else you lose the game. He starts trying to sling it around, and he just throws picks, which did not surprise me one bit, because I think he's a great quarterback when they're leading, because they're running threat, and then the easy passes. You can draw up all the short yardage stuff, get 4 yards of play, whatever you want to do. But when you're down, it's a whole different ballgame. That's when you find out who can actually throw the football in, tight windows, on time, on target. And he did not look good in that game. So because of that, now I feel like, I don't know if Miami's going to beat them, but
3.5 A&M
Yeah, now it's at, still 3.5. Yeah.
I thought Miami was a good football at the beginning. I picked them to beat Notre Dame at home the first week. I'm high on Carson Beck, but Carson Beck threw 4 interceptions one game, and they got beat. He threw 3 in another one, and they got beat. If he doesn't turn the ball over, Miami can compete with any of them
Mm-hmm.
because they have the athletes on the defensive side. But if I like that game, I'll take Miami plus the 3.5 because it's over the field goal, and
I
I'll
don't.
take Alabama plus the minus the 1 at OU.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to if you're going to play anything, just play Oregon and expect them to win by 40. I mean, I know you don't like big lines, but 22.5 with James Madison, Oregon, that's allowed to be that at the end of the first quarter.
No, I was
Dude.
gonna say that I don't know where the cutoff is for what I consider a big line, but I think that's on the side of it that we're not talking about 42. I mean, I think that they're 3, 4 touchdowns better than James Madison is.
And the question would be, how many times have we seen James Madison play this year? Because I've seen nothing but highlights of him.
I've seen 0.
I have not watched one football game. So we want to preference that by saying I haven't seen James Madison play a complete football game. I have seen their highlights every week, and they look like they've got a quarterback and some defense. Again, Guru said early on that Texas Tech had the best college football team that money could buy. They outspend anyone else. That shows that money does talk when it comes to college football, because Texas Tech looks like what the Guru said from the very beginning, a very solid football team on both sides of the ball.
They're good. I don't know if I believe they can win it either, but I think that they're really good. I think they beat the wheels off of Tulane and James Madison.
Well, they're not in that grouping.
Mm-hmm.
So the groupings amaze me because they definitely want a Big Ten SEC matchup in the final.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna want Texas Tech playing Ole Miss.
No. You know what's great too for Arkansas fans, because I'm unhappy with Hunter Yurachek.
Well, there's rumors, folks, that Keith Carter from Perryville, Arkansas, that did not get a scholarship from the University of Arkansas in basketball, went to Ole Miss as a player, now is their athletic director, and folks are calling for Hunter Yurachek's head, and they want Keith Carter to come home.
Well, Hunter Yurachek, it's making me happy that a lot of other people in the country are hating him too right now because he takes this college football playoff, position or whatever, and Arkansas fans have already been kind of sick of him. I actually was a fan of his until last year, probably, but yeah, he goes to be one of these big talking heads for the college football playoff, and now he goes and pisses people off for the playoff. So now you got people who have nothing to do with Arkansas hating Hunter Yurachek.
Hey, and Jeff Long was the committee chairman, and I mean it made some headlines when he fired Bob Petrino. It was next year he was the committee chairman. I was thinking, goodness gracious, they were interviewing him all the time. Well, Arkansas fired him just as quick as they're gonna fire Hunter Yurachek.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, can't think of his name, but anyway, that athletic director, if he makes one more bad move, Calipari helps him.
Oh, Calipari maybe
and
the only reason he has a job.
And the baseball coach, is solid as a rock, and not going to be that program is not going to get out of the top 10.
But he doesn't get to take credit for that.
No, he does not.
And our fans ain't going to give him credit for that.
Well, Dave Van Horn's been there a lot longer than he has.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But Calipari is his only. Well, as far as the public goes, the only thing people care about that he gets to hang his hat on is Calipari. But even then, based on all the stories that came out, that wasn't even him. That was John Tyson. But
he gets credit for it because he's the one that wins the Tyson.
Yes, but the only other thing that he gets to take credit for is like we've consistently been. If you look at all the sports no one cares about, and I'm not
Softball,
disrespecting those
soccer.
sports, but
Yeah,
the sports that don't bring in the money.
They're doing well.
You look
Non-revenue
at-
producing sports.
You look at all those sports, and we're ranked in the top 10 in the country when you combine them all. Like that, yeah, that's great, and that is great. But like,
Absolutely.
it's just That's not what keeps you your job. You don't keep your job because your soccer team is doing good and your track team is doing good. That's not what keeps you employed. So,
Our your girls softball team has done well. Your girls basketball team has been absolutely miserable for years under a terrible call. I coached the Gatorade Player of the Year 2 years ago in the state of Arkansas. 3-time state champion, 6'1" point guard, is at ORU right now, and Arkansas did everything they could to lie to her. And then, she's all-time leading scorer at Greenwood High School, and that's where the coach was from. It was the girls basketball coach. 3-time in a row, 3-time state championship, all-time leading scorer at the program. Gatorade Player of the Year, Max Prep Player of the Year, and they don't offer a scholarship.
that's the one I've seen play,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She's good.
She's averaging about 15 now at ORU. So you just miss on some athletes, and I'm not trying to criticize that, but the bottom line is you don't hang your hat on non-revenue producing sports. Our baseball program at the University of Arkansas now can stand on its own, but it's not going to support a lot of other programs. Your football team and your basketball team have to be good. That's what matters. And that's not talking bad about the golf team or the tennis team or the gymnastics team or the soccer team. Those are great, and we've been good. Shoot, we've been the best track program in the history of the world.
Yeah. But the energy for those schools goes down when the other programs aren't good. When your football team's decent and your basketball team's good, that's when everyone's like jumping on board for everything. That's what makes
tide lifts all boats.
Yes, 100%. Especially if the tide happens to be the football team.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't even know. I don't know how to feel about the dang coaching thing. Part of me wants to say you have an opportunity to fork up the money and make something happen, and you should have done it, no excuses. The other part of me is like, maybe we just don't have the resources. I don't know what the deal is, but all I know is in the same press conference that everyone was letting Silverfield answer questions, he got asked about 12 times about financial stuff, and he really still didn't have in my opinion, he didn't have a confidence building answer.
Oh,
he didn't have a bad answer, but he did not have any answer that gave anyone confidence. Every answer was like a politically correct coach speak type, we're gonna do everything we can. We're gonna be competitive. He kept using the word, we're gonna be competitive.
Yes.
We're gonna be in the top whatever in the SEC. Okay, no one cares. That's not what anyone wants to hear. If you're gonna be number 7, then who cares? Like I don't care if you're number 7. I don't want to be number 7. If you have a chance to reset and find the resources, and if you can't do it, then get him out of here. And he'll go do great somewhere else, I'm sure. But you got to be able to secure. The funds are in the state.
Absolutely.
We got the funds in the state.
You got to find a way to get access to the things that you know are right here.
You got to get it. You got to get them, and he hasn't got them apparently because there's some of these teams. I know that they're bigger markets, but there's some of these teams. There's no reason you can't compete with some of these teams. And telling me we're gonna be number whatever in the SEC as far as NIL goes, unacceptable. Like, it's just, I don't know, whatever. I don't care.
I just pulled up the playoffs, and Texas Tech will play the winner of James Madison, Oregon. So let's just go ahead and say that Oregon plays Texas Tech.
Fun Jersey
be a good
game.
Football team.
Yeah,
And won't that be a great
Jersey
great
game.
Jersey game for colors? And then in that upper bracket too, you've got Alabama and OU winner going to Indiana, or playing Indiana. So there's your top bracket. You figure it'll be Oregon, Texas Tech, Alabama, OU, or and against Indiana. So there's your top half. I would say Alabama, Indiana, and Oregon, Texas Tech are going to be pretty good football games.
Yeah.
And if it's OU Indiana, you're going to talk about pitting a tremendous offense of Indiana against a tremendous defense of OU.
Yeah.
So
That'd be a bad matchup for OU, I think.
those line, I agree with you. I think Alabama has a much better chance of beating Indiana
I do too.
than OU. Then the bottom half of that bracket has Tulane, Ole Miss. Let's just go ahead and give Ole Miss that bid. That lines up Ole Miss, Georgia. So see, there's your a rematch this year, and I think two quality football teams. And I think Georgia's peaking at the right time.
They were another one that kind of looked a little questionable a couple of times, but yeah, their last couple games, they looked dominant.
And then the Miami Texas A&M winner has to go and play Ohio State the next week. So that'll be a good football team, whether it's Miami Ohio State or A&M Ohio State.
Imagine A&M. If A&M's quarterback, I'm telling you right now, if it's A&M Ohio State, I'm betting
Ohio State
my
off the board.
whole account. And if I can bet prop bets, I'm betting on like 2+ turnovers. That would be bad. Miami, Carson Beck's been there, done that.
Yes, he has.
He obviously has proven that he can be bad.
But
he's been there, done that, and I would say he has a better chance. But if A&M plays Ohio State, I don't care what they make the line. I'm all over
that
Ohio
line
State.
would be, if A&M beats Miami,
6.5.
You're in that neighborhood. It might be 4.5 to 7.5 in that area. I bet it starts at about 6 to 7, and then we'll see where it plays. But I bet people will jump on Ohio State just like you're saying.
I will. I promise you that.
That is it's going to be a great football. I just love football, and I love this time of the year. I wished we'd have had some bigger names in there. I don't understand how they get to this point and this happens, but they'll continue to figure it out. It's kind of like the NIL. It's the wild, wild west. Before long, they'll figure out what works, what doesn't work. But, you put a whole lot of people. You know what think tanks do, Guru? Think tanks are designed to change or shift people's opinions about things. And so you'll see they're trying to figure out a way to get the masses, the public, to believe in what they want them to believe, much like lobbyists. So they're trying to change policy. Well, at the college football playoffs, they got all year long. There's no way in the world that they can sit in a room and say James Madison and Tulane are two of the top 12. So they have these guidelines they've got to put in place, these conference champs or this and that. It just doesn't work in football. Once you get past the conferences, you ought to put the top 12 football teams in what will be next year probably 16. But
it's just because there's such a physical. It's such a physical game that the difference in the athletes makes more of a difference. It's way more rare in football to see, like you said earlier, the Cinderella team doesn't go beat a couple like really good teams. They may catch lightning.
Michigan, but they can't win the next week.
No, exactly. But basketball, that's not the case. Sure, height, length is a huge deal, but if you can make threes from 6-7 feet beyond the arc and you hit them at a 50% clip for a game, you can beat anybody.
Absolutely. They might not have but one player on the court that could start for years, but if he has 35 and the rest of them play above their head, they can win.
I mean, look at, and hopefully this comes across the most complimentary way possible, but look at like Seth Hawley. Like that guy, he played at UFAS, but if Seth catches fire, Seth could go hang 30 on anybody.
Another student of mine, and he had 26 at the half against Malik Monk.
Yeah.
And Malik Monk, I think, had 19 or 20. The second half, Seth didn't score but 4, and Malik had another 19 or 20. So he ended up with like 40, and Seth had like 29. But at the halftime, if you watch that first half of that game, he outplayed Malik.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way he's a streaky shooter. You got a lot of brothers in that family, big family, and all of them but one are brothers, and all of them could shoot the ball.
Yeah,
their father and their uncle, both tremendous athletes, played in college ball in Kansas, had a cup of coffee with the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a cousin that played at Drake, 6'7".
I've played with him. I've played with him.
And then the oldest Jeremiah, he made it to the final cut of the OKC Thunder as a pro, but he could shoot it lights out and was thick and could move. Seth's little middle brother or older brother to him, Jonathan, he could shoot the ball too, but Seth was more athletic, could move quicker, and than his brothers, but all of them could shoot, and all of them had more height than him.
Yeah,
he's 6 foot. He's 6 foot 6'1".
Yeah, so, he's 6'1", I think. But yeah, you can hang in basketball. You can go on a run, but football, when you're lining up, when you got Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, whoever you want to name it, when you got these dudes lining up, 5 offensive linemen that are 360, significantly stronger than everyone on your defensive line, faster than everyone on your defensive line, bigger than everyone on your defensive line. At some point, there is a level of, like, you just can't go move that guy. Like, you can make some plays on the back end. You may get a couple turnovers, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to, I'm handing the ball off to my running back and we're going to run straight forward, and you have to be able to get past these dudes, like, you just can't. I mean,
controlling the line of scrimmage is the key. That's why we both talked about how bad Arkansas's season was going to be this year because of the defensive front.
Yeah.
But those boys can just lay on you. They can just weigh you down. They can just grind you down over and over and over again. And by the time it's over with, fatigue sets in. Then you're wore out. Most of the time you're getting beat, and you're just getting pounded by that weight. I mean, if you outweigh somebody 30 or 40 pounds and you're stronger, and in some cases faster, and they've got to have 90 plays, and to be honest, very few of those folks are 100% healthy all the time.
Oh, no.
They've got a jam finger, or they got a tweaked wrist, or they got a hamstring problem. And anywhere that weakness is in that body, after you've been pounded by those boys for that long, they become a very burdensome.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with, like, you watch, like, a Derrick Henry, and even the best defenders in the world, like, you're talking about NFL defenders, they've been the best at every level they've ever played at. By the third and fourth quarter, when that man keeps running and you keep tackling him, people don't want to tackle him anymore. Like, his yards per carry goes up by the quarter because he's bigger and stronger, and it doesn't feel good when you've tried to tackle him 9 times and your shoulders banging into his big body. At some point, you're going to start to lose that like you said, you're going to be banged up, and you're going to lose that energy and that toughness because you're just it's running into a wall, and you're just doing it over and over and over. And same thing with those smaller schools versus those big schools that are getting the best players at every position. But yeah, no. All that goes to say, I'm happy for James Madison and Tulane and their fans, but there's better football teams in the country that should be playing in those bowl games.
Well, they used to say student athlete, and they used to talk about the safety of the athletes. They can't play 10 games. They can't play 11 games. They've got to study. Well, and then they went from 11 games to 12 games. And, it was just so an outcry of, why are you using all of these college athletes to make all this money, to generate all this revenue? And so then they start paying them the NIL money, and now nobody says anything about the safety. So I wouldn't expect for the NFL plays 17 games now plus a playoff. So what's going to happen when the college is playing 12 games and then they extend to 24? Now you've got 12 games the first week, 6 the second week. Yeah. No, 12. You can't do it with 24.
Yeah.
So you've got to do it 12. I mean, yeah, you can. You can certainly do it with 24. You just got to be able to get there with 6, 6, 6, and 6. There's your 4 regions.
And it's just more games.
Yeah.
It's more games.
So you have to win, another 4 games. Right now, these folks that have their bye week, they've got to win 3 games.
Yeah.
They've got to win the first game, the semifinals, and the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct, or am I missing that?
No, that should be right. They don't. It's not just one. Yeah,
They've got to win 1, 2, 3 games.
Yes.
So
and they're banking on obviously if it goes, if it's chalk, then the teams that are the best teams are going to play 3 games, and there's not going to be a team that plays 4 games.
Right.
But
last year there was one that they played 4, wasn't it?
Who played Ohio
Notre
State?
Dame play Ohio State.
My brain's not.
See how that's things that are so important to us, folks, and a year later you have a tough time figuring it out. That's what the Super Bowl. 3 years after the Super Bowl, they spend 2 weeks hyping the Super Bowl, and 2 years later, nobody can tell you who played in it that lost. They can normally tell you the winner if they're a college or a pro football fan, but they can't even tell you who lost it. But yes, this coming year, it's wide open in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think you've got 4 teams that can win it. I told you an SEC team would win it early on in the year, and that Ohio State wouldn't. So we'll see if that holds up.
I hope an SEC team wins, but I do think that the Ohio State losing is dangerous. But at the same time, they looked human, so you know they're not unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, let's go to pro football. What did you think? And Baltimore's been doing pretty much what they need to do in order to win
until last
week, and now they're back in the saddle again, struggling. What do you think about the old Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens division this year, and what do you think is going to happen between now and the end of the year? Because right now, this NFL playoff scenario is tripping me out.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster. But it sounds insane to say this because of the teams that you just said and the names on those teams, but that's a nasty division right now.
That was the best division at the beginning of the season, I thought.
The Ravens just aren't right. Lamar's not right.
No.
He's hurt, and he's playing through it, and you can tell that he's not right. Joe Burrow comes back. The Bengals play one of the best football games of the year, definitely.
And the Bills were better
that day, but they had a couple crazy plays on defense back to back that secured it for them. But the Bengals in that game looked like they could hang with anyone. Of course, everyone's always said if Joe Burrow's playing, then they've got a chance. Their defense just can't stop anybody. But then the Pittsburgh, I don't like watching Pittsburgh.
Boy,
don't tell Will,
no,
but I don't like watching Pittsburgh.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't look good.
And yet he's the best quarterback they've had since Ben Roethlisberger.
I keep thinking, man, if he was the Aaron Rodgers of old and their Steelers defense hadn't shown up this year very often, they've got DK Metcalf. They've got a decent running game. They just don't look like a playoff football team to me. Okay?
No.
And you got Kansas City, which is not even going to make the playoffs unless they get turned around, because somehow, some way, Denver and the Chargers keep going and playing. And how about the Jacksonville Jaguars just decide they're just going to beat whoever they play against?
Who did they beat last week? It was the Colts, because because
Daniel Jones.
See, and I still think that the Jags, they're not bad, but there's still a chance that they're fraudulent a little bit, because I feel like, and I'm talking out of my butt here because I can't tell you every time or every game they've played.
Well, they played the Chargers and beat them, and then they played the Colts and beat them the last 2 weeks. That tells you that they can play with anybody.
Yeah, although the Colts didn't count, though, because Daniel Jones has been playing on a broken leg for 4 weeks, 4 weeks, and then he tore his Achilles.
Wonder what do you think that'll do to their hopes? I know everybody thinks Jonathan
First of all, that's
Taylor.
so sad.
Yes, it is.
I hate that.
Yes.
The Colts, they've been so fun, and
it's like that horseshoe on their helmet, too.
Oh, yeah. They've been fun. The Daniel Jones story is cool. The fact that he's trying to tough out a broken leg is just psycho to even say, and I respect the heck out of it. He's out here being a competitor. I'm going to tough it out, and then you just get a crazy injury like that. It's just like they can't catch a break. They do what every single team wants, or every fan wants their organization to do, which is realize when you've got a chance to be a contender and then make moves to capitalize on it. They trade for Sauce Gardner, one of the better cornerbacks in the league. He tears his Achilles when he gets there. Your quarterback who is under budget for the way he's playing, which is a key thing too, because you've got this money that you're spending on the rest of your team. He breaks his leg and tears his Achilles. Now you're signing a 75-year-old to play quarterback, and I'm just like, it's just sad because it was fun that they were good. Jonathan Taylor is still incredible, but that significantly impacts his ability to affect a game because people are just going to stack a box and make the grandpa throw on him. It impacts your receivers, your rookie tight end. At this point, I'm not. First of all, I'm biased when I say this because I have him in a league that I'm in the playoffs in, but I feel like they should just run Tyler Warren at quarterback at this point. But
you like him,
I do, but I don't know. It's just that's sad. It's a sad deal. But the Jags, I feel like they keep having things go their way, but I don't know if they're legit.
They're not. They're not legit, but they're obviously better than I thought they were.
Yeah, and the Chiefs is crazy. I cannot even believe watching them. Like, I don't understand. I do understand. Their offensive line is so hurt. On the very first play of the last game, they lose another one. They got backups all over the place. They can't block. Patrick Mahomes is getting, trying to avoid getting murdered every play. They got receivers dropping balls. Their defense isn't as good as they're supposed to be. Although they went toe-to-toe with the Texans, although the Texans' offense isn't very good, but the Texans' defense is incredible.
I guarantee they are.
And I don't know. It's crazy to think. It's just crazy to think the Chiefs wouldn't be in the playoffs. I mean, Patrick Mahomes hasn't been out of the playoffs in his whole career. He's barely been out of the Super Bowl in his whole career.
I'm looking at the stats now, and they're 6-7. The two in front of them are 11-2 and 9-4. They ain't catching those two.
Who?
The Chargers and the Broncos.
Where are the Colts?
The Colts,
because that's their best chance.
The Colts are 8-5. The Jaguars are 9-4, and the Texans are 8-5. I think I picked the Texans to win that before the season. I think I'll stick with that.
And I think the Texans' the rest of the season is not very hard, if I remember correctly, also.
But Jacksonville 9-4, the Texans 8-5, the Colts 8-5, and the Titans 2-11. That to me is I thought the Colts would go ahead and win that, but now they've lost 2 in a row, and Jacksonville's won 2 in a row. That tends to bring you back to the pack. As far as the AFC West with your Chiefs and my Chiefs, they're just when you got the Broncos at 11-2, which again, think they're that good.
No, them and the Texans are the same team. Yep. Literally the exact same team. Although I think the Broncos' offense has had a little more pop than the Texans, but they're the exact same team. Their defense is going to show up, and it's just a matter of if they can score more than you. Because the Texans' defense is brutal. They are so good, and they're young. And
who would you say the 3 best defense in the NFL? You'd say the Texans, you'd say the
Broncos and Rams.
Who else? Rams?
Probably just because of their defensive line. They should be, but they haven't been playing that way. This last week they played really well and lost. I think that it might be.
Well, in the AFC East, when you're thinking, you've got the Patriots at 11-2, very surprising to me. The Bills 9-4, which I had winning that division. The Dolphins 6-7, exactly where I thought they would be, and the Jets 3-10. I expected them to be 2 games better. I expected them to be 5-8 right now. So you're talking 13 games that you played. That Patriots Bills, that's who you're looking at in that division. The Steelers Ravens though tripped me out because one's 7-6, the other one's 6-7, and the Steelers have beat them twice.
Well, and the NFL robbed the Ravens this last week. I don't know if you got to see that play that he caught the touchdown.
I did.
That was insane.
Yeah. I saw the highlights.
That was insane. I cannot believe they did not call that a catch.
It was a catch.
Yeah, it was a catch.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was close.
It was a catch.
And they took it from him. But still, Yeah, no, that was a crazy matchup and crazy game. But I don't know. I feel like honestly the Browns might have the best defense or might have one
They're
of the
3 and
top,
10.
but their offense is so bad that it doesn't matter. But no, the Broncos and the Texans defense keeps them in games by themselves. I mean, they're amazing.
Kind of like Ohio State's defense. See what I said about Texas's defense, and then they went to Florida the very same week, and they were getting beat by 3 touchdowns at the half by that quarterback. And then Florida couldn't show up the rest of the year. It's amazing how football, handicapping, picking, projecting, especially in the futures market, I mean, a lot of things can happen. The longer, more games you play, the more people can get hurt. They were talking 2 weeks ago about Daniel Jones being a superstar. Now he's out for the year. And folks, an Achilles used to be, I'm older than Sir Isaac, but Achilles used to be career ending. An ACL, I mean, it was a 13-month rehab for ACLs. Now it's down to 6 and 7. You got Achilles. It just ruined so many people's careers that you never heard of that were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And now I don't think Aaron Rodgers has ever been the same since he came back from one.
No.
And that might be age.
The age it's a bad combo.
It's a bad combo. But ACLs used to be as bad as Achilles. Now they're not. Achilles still have a real problem if you're trying to rehab them and get back anytime soon.
Yep.
I've had 5 knee surgeries, and 4 of them were ACLs. Just basically got 8 inches of my hamstring, screws, staples, cadaver cartilage, no meniscus, no medial collateral. I split a patella tendons, split my kneecap. They had to totally reconstruct over a period of time. That's a long rehab period. And then if something doesn't work, then they got to go back in. Or if you're trying to rehab and you hurt again, that was, again, that's 40 years ago. Now, sports medicine is much better. But you're not going to just be able to play 2 weeks later. You're out for the year when you do an Achilles, and it doesn't matter whether it's the first week or the last week.
Yep.
You're going to be out a year. And I just hate it for Daniel Jones. But when you look at the standings and you see that the Broncos are 11-2 and the Jaguars are 9-4, you see that the Steelers have beat the Ravens twice and have a 1-game lead on them. I mean, are you going to tell me that we're going to have the Broncos, the Steelers, the Jaguars, all in the playoffs?
It's looking like it right now. I'm still hoping for a miracle with the Chiefs. I think the NFL is probably hoping for a miracle with the Chiefs, to be honest with you. But
yeah, I don't blame them. I am too. I'm pulling for them.
But the Patriots, that'll be a fun storyline when they get into the playoffs because they've had the easiest schedule, which, again, not any shade to them. They've been winning the games they're supposed to win. But it'll be interesting to see them have to play a stud because they have not done that yet. But no, yeah, it's a crazy year.
Well, the NFC is a little it's a little more sane. How did you like the Detroit-Dallas overplay? That's what they had 75 in the game. I just was laughing the whole game.
Yeah.
44 to something. I was like, 44 to 24.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt.
Was there?
No, that game made me sad because CeeDee Lamb was having a really good game and then he got concussed and then George Pickens just decided to stop. He did a George Pickens thing for the first time this year and he just decided to stop running. And there were some bad clips that came out after that game of like a couple long passes that really looked like he could have
got
the ball.
Little energy and effort. That's what coaches want, energy and effort. And George Pickens is one of the finest receivers in the NFL, and he's just going to have to figure out a way to change that reputation.
And I don't know that he can.
T.O. had that same reputation, but T.O. just kept scoring touchdowns.
But and this was before my time, but I feel like, was T.O. like known for being like a psycho like that though, or was he just like a diva? Because George Pickens is he's not like a diva. He's he goes off the handle. Like he's like it's like sometimes a screw pops loose and he's liable to go dolphin dive at someone's head on the field for no reason. Like he's just a weirdo.
What was the guy? Was it Antonio Brown
Yeah.
that was absolutely crazy?
Yes, that's
Is
the
that who he
vibes
was?
George Pickens gives me.
Oh wow! Well, I think Antonio Brown is picked up over in Saudi Arabia for
He's in jail somewhere.
okay, murder or
He
something.
got an
Some
attempted
country.
murder or
Yeah.
something.
Again,
But
that's Psycho and Diva. Most receivers, if they're any good, are divas.
yes,
But they do. They have a problem with the defensive back, and they have a problem with the coach not throwing the football.
yeah,
They don't really have a problem with other folks
yeah.
on that. But you got a boy now that's getting a real bad rep at the Eagles, AJ Brown.
Man, he had a couple bad plays he missed this in that game.
Yeah. Yeah. When you start doing those type things, people tend to focus on your mistakes. I've seen Joe Montana throw 3 interceptions in a football game, and 2 of them returned for touchdowns, and they got beat 34-17 by the Atlanta Falcons and didn't lose another game and won the Super Bowl. Nobody talked about Joe Montana's terrible day of 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, because he had earned the spot, kept quiet, and moved right on.
I was going to say, you do it to yourself when
you do it to
you
yourself.
do all the talking, because then you just give people the ammo.
Isn't that what you said about Sanders? Isn't that what you're saying about the Arkansas new hire?
Yeah, you can't you can
Lower expectations and exceed them. How about that?
Unless you are the guy who can make or talk the talk and then back it up. But it's always better to do the other. Because you're just setting yourself up instead of everyone waiting on you to succeed. Everyone's waiting on you to fail. That's the difference. And so, the AJ Brown thing is unfortunate. I've never seen the Jalen Hurts play where he had 2 turnovers in one play was the most amazing thing I've ever seen, and that made me laugh so hard because I had 2 different friends in a group message that they had like Jalen Hurts and somebody else, and this is the week before playoffs in fantasy, and they both had him on their team, and they needed him to score. One of them needed him to score like 8 points, and the other one I think he needed a little bit bigger of a week, and he had I can't remember who else he had. Anyway, the one who needed him to score 8 points, he thought that he's like, this is no big deal, and it was like pretty early in the game he had the interception, the fumble in the same play, and it was -4 fantasy points, and I was like, that sounds like how I would lose
by 3 or by 1. Yeah,
I've never seen that before.
That is a scary. I have seen more in the last 10 years. Quarterbacks throwing the ball and the ball getting deflected, and then catching it and then running it. I always wanted them to catch it and then try to throw it again.
Yes.
But when I was playing, they would tell you to slap it down. Get the ball on the ground. Don't try to catch it. Make sure it goes on the ground. All right, Sir Isaac the Guru. We're wrapping up today on Phee Sports Ball with Sir Isaac the Guru right here on the Phee Smead Network. My oldest daughter is getting married this weekend. I want to tell her how much I love her and how I can't wait to see her this weekend. That will change our programming. So we will see you again, or I'll see you again Monday for Night with Phee. And then we'll be back next Thursday with the old college football playoff special. We'll have our guest that'll be on the phone if we can't get them in the studio, and we'll rock and roll here. Sir Isaac, are you going out tonight and enjoying yourself? Brought a suit with you?
Yeah, gotta go support the
better half.
Yeah, the better half. She finished up nursing school, so go into that, and then
congratulations to Sydney, and God bless you. I can tell you now, Isaac is excited about you graduating.
I am. Mainly because I don't have to live through secondhand like PTSD of when I was in school. But no, seriously though, I know she's more than ready to be done, as everyone normally is, and finally got there. So happy for her, and it's her birthday week too. So good a week.
Double
good
combo.
Week. Oh yeah.
Or I would say double trouble if you're dealing with Phee. Anyway, Sir Isaac, one play of the week for you. It would be college basketball, but do give me a pro football play for the folks, since we're a handicapping show on sports ball. Give them the play of the week. And I will give you one too before we really break down this college football playoffs next Thursday night, a week from today.
NFL, give me the
he's struggling.
Give me the Bengals.
The Bengals
plus 2.5 versus the Ravens. And then whatever the Arkansas line is against A&M or against Texas Tech in basketball, take us to cover whatever it is.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, I do. I think it sets up really good for us.
Folks, I will take the Buffalo Bills -1 against the New England Patriots as the lock of the week. Don't even think about it. Just play it and go buy you something for Christmas.
Easy game. Easy game.
Easy game right there. Folks, we do appreciate you guys tuning in to the Phee Speed Network and Phee Sports Ball with Sir Isaac the Guru. Until next time, remember, no matter what you're doing, you're missing something. So let's make what we're doing worth what we're missing. God bless you guys.